Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody, and welcome to another round of Rush Racing League Div 5. This time we're heading to Honda's home track of Suzuka in Japan. It's a very tight and narrow circuit with few overtaking opportunities, which places an extra high importance on qualifying. My name is Patrick Goldman, aka Ruckus, and alongside me is the one, the only, Keeper. How you doing tonight, mate?
I'm doing very good, thanks, mate. How about yourself?
Can't complain, can't complain. We're here for Div 5, a very explosive division here in Rush, and we're at a track where overtaking is very, very difficult for the most part. We've had some bangers already this week, and looking to add Div 5 to that list as we are just going to go ahead and jump straight over to the track right now. And it is quali underway, so it is going to be a short qualifying here today. So one session to rule them all is going to be the name of the game here. So one session for all of our 18 drivers. We are expecting to have at least 19. One driver was stuck in what I like to call the communicating with servers purgatory. So that's unfortunate for him. It does happen, particularly with this platform for whatever reason, but he'll be joining in as soon as he can. That will be the second Williams. And now we do have cars on track already. So I believe it was a Haas, and it is Mr. Panda. Gonna go ahead and give it a go and try to see what he can do on this lap. Now, Keeper, what are your thoughts on the Suzuka circuit our drivers are tackling today?
Yeah, very, very technical one. Needs a lot of practice to really get it right. If you're fresh to the track and you haven't really done much practice on it, it's very hard to be competitive through those S's at the start and stay on the tail of those around you. So, yeah, and obviously very, very hard to overtake, as you said. I found that the difficulties out of that last night, having to start from the back of the grid with a quali ban. So yeah, you rely a lot on other people's mistakes if you don't qualify well, really, to try and get a good finish.
Yeah, the interesting thing about this track is that it is the track that's actually used for quite a few different motorsports disciplines. They actually have a drift track, like a drifting go-kart track that's a part of this circuit as well. I think it primarily just uses the S's on what is kind of known as the East course, which has the start finish straight and then the S's and then just kind of loops back around. It has seen host to NASCAR on that particular layout, and also on its other layouts it has been host of Super GT, um, multiple GT3 style races, motorcycle racing. The 8 Hours of Suzuka is a really popular motorcycle endurance race that takes place on this track. Super Formula, which is a really fun racing series to watch, basically Japanese IndyCar. And of course, what we're here for tonight, Formula 1, as Mr. Panda is going to go ahead and begin his lap. And yeah, like you said, this track is a very technical one. But coming through the S's, your worst issue is going to be running into that dirty air, because that will absolutely cook your tires way quicker than you want to.
I'll just get you to keep taking it away for me, Wreckers. I'll go try and get Shiny Piastri back in.
Alright, yeah, we'll go ahead and continue narrating Panda's lap right here. He's going to go ahead and make his way to the hairpin. Now, this is a really tricky corner as well. It's very easy to get wrong. If you come in too hot, you really do not get the best of exits, which doesn't really set you up that nicely for a run into Spoon. So you want to get a good exit out of the hairpin. You also want to get a good exit through Spoon, because that sets you up real nicely onto the run to the world famous 130R. So we'll see how this is going to play out. He's going to get a good slipstream from the Williams just up ahead. The Williams will pull aside and let the Haas on through. No impeding there. And now coming up to the Casio Triangle, where sometimes you can make overtakes going into the Casio Triangle, but it's not particularly recommended. We've seen a little bit of that in Div 1. And a 129.577 is going to be the benchmark for the rest of these drivers to go ahead and try to beat. We do have a few drivers currently on their laps right now. We're on board with the Risen, as he's gonna try to make his way up to the top of the timetable. I was gonna say he's gonna try to riz his way to the top, but I don't know how well that would have gone over. But he is gonna do what he can. He does have his teammate just up the road, so that will make things a bit easier. And actually, he is running the Silverstone graffiti livery, which I actually didn't even know they added. Must be part of this new update that just came out.
No, it's been around since early January, I think, Wreckers. Part of the, you can
Has
get
it
that
really?
and...
Wow.
Yeah, you can get that and a Red Bull livery, I think it is.
I know the Honda livery's been in for a while, but the graffiti Silverstone livery I think is a bit of a new one. At least I've yet to see it.
Oh, no, sorry. The Kick Pixel livery, sorry, is the other one that came out with at the same time.
Well, we do know that the Risen is up to P5, currently 1.6 seconds off of the time to beat. And now Kenobi is making his way through, going to try to force push his McLaren into pole position. We'll see if he can get close to his teammates, who's got a 128.9 right now. It is a 131.7 for Kenobi at the moment, so he'll need to work some extra Jedi mind tricks onto that McLaren to get some extra pace out of it. And now we do have quite a few other drivers making their way through this Suzuka circuit. Now, the thing that's going to be really difficult is going to be traffic, because there really isn't a lot of places to really let people pass. You really got the run to Spoon, the exit to Spoon going into 130R, and then the start finish straight. Otherwise, everywhere else could be a bit of a hot spot. I guess right there at the S's is a pretty good spot to let someone in as well, but there's still just a lot of tricky places on this track. So we'll see how it goes. And the Ferrari apparently decides that that bollard didn't need to be there, and he just murdered it on his way into the pits. And now we jump aboard with the Aston Martin of Paul and Hill, who is making his way through on his first lap. Currently 8 drivers have set laps at the moment. The other 10 either on an out lap or in the pits at the moment. We are still expecting at least one other driver to jump in during qualifying. So hopefully.
There he is.
And yep. Speaking of the Williams, he has spawned in. So now it'll be 19 drivers on the grid here tonight, and it's gonna make things interesting. It's always fun. The more the merrier, as the old saying goes. But tonight should be a fun one, Keeper.
Oh, it definitely should be. I think, Wreckers, it's a lot of experience versus a few new guys here, but there's been a lot of practice from some of the smaller names, you would probably say, to the really experienced ones. But there's some guys that were around last season or have been around multiple seasons, have been putting in a lot of work here, and their improvement has been very good over the course of the pre-season and the start of this season, as Paul and Hill just goes to P4 there with a 129.5. And we've got TMT jumping to the top there, and we've still got some very experienced drivers to come, with Chevy Wolves on a lap and and Crowjag still to come, so we could still see some big changes up the front of this grid here when these guys complete their laps.
Exactly that. Currently on board with Soup for Duck at the moment. He's making his way through the S's in the Alpine. We'll see if he can go ahead and try to disrupt the order a bit. Because, like you were just saying, there's a lot of people who could really disrupt this qualifying order here. And for the most part, these are going to be banker laps. We're going to see the true laps towards what I like to call rush hour, which is about the last 2 to 3 minutes of qualifying. As we go ahead and make our way through the session, and actually Soup has actually invalidated his lap. So we'll go up to a driver who was racing in an Alpine in seasons prior. He's also invalidated. So now we're actually going to drop down to Shining Swarm. And the Haas is going to go ahead and see what he can do here in the American machine. Goes a bit wide at the deck now, and he's invalidated as well. And he's actually off into the gravel. So I think that's actually where a lot of the drivers have just been kind of losing it. Has just been the exit of the Degnas, which is a very easy corner to do it on. I've seen, and in multiple classes where I've commentated this race, I've seen pretty much almost every single session in any car type, whether it's an LMP, F1, GT3, etc. I've always seen somebody go off into Degnas, so it does happen.
Yeah, I've seen one of the other guys earlier too go off in that area. I can't remember who it was now, but yeah, same area. It's very easy to get that corner wrong. You've really got to get it right, or if you end up on that outside curve, it just drags you further off the track, unfortunately. As we're on board with Uncle Morty here, I think he's on an out lap at the moment, so just getting ready for his second run.
Trying to go ahead and get some extra heat into those Pirelli tires. And actually, no, he's going to get into the pit, so he's actually called it for that particular run set. And Chevy Wolf's now on a lap, and I think he's also going to go ahead and try to bring it on in. Maybe he'll go for it. Yeah, I think he's bringing it in. We will see what the Red Bull driver does. Yeah, he's bringing it in, so...
He only just set a lap not long ago, I think, so that's probably his cool-down lap, I think.
Yeah, we'll see if Dwight is going to go ahead and fire one up for us, and I believe he will. Yeah, he's going to go ahead and just lick the stamp and send it in that McLaren. He's going to go ahead and do what he can. He's got a relatively clear track ahead of him. He does have a Ferrari and an Aston Martin not too far ahead. So that'll be interesting to see what comes of that, but I think they're far enough to where the worst part to really catch traffic is the S's right here, because you get so much dirty air that can really just mess up your line, especially with this current ground effect regulation of cars. And this is going to be interesting. He's already up by 2/10. He's actually already in a position to where if he keeps up that gap, he will get pole position keeper. So D White's looking pretty strong right here.
Yeah, another one of these experienced drivers from Div6 last season who shows really good pace. Obviously has some track that suit him, but he's a very, very consistent driver here, so I expect to see him up the top end for the majority of this season. Obviously, though, you never know with some of the newer guys, the less unknown names, they have that natural progression and they really improve as the season goes on. But yeah, D White, definitely one to watch out for over the course of this season in Div5, I believe. He's coming through Sector 2 and he's still nearly 3/10 up here now, so this will be enough if he gets this last sector right here to put him on provisional pole on his second lap here, and he should have enough time, well, definitely will have enough time to get back to the pits to go for a third run at the end of this session as well. As he comes down towards the finish line, over he goes, and he's
nice.
Just under 3/10 better, and yeah, nearly a full 10th ahead of TMT Legend there for provisional pole at the moment for D White in the McLaren.
Yeah, and actually, I mean, that's really a result that McLaren needs at this point. They only have 7 points in the Constructors as of right now, with Dwight having all 7 of them. So McLaren definitely needs this good result here. And Sorokin is in, and he is the Williams driver that we were talking about a bit earlier on that was stuck in the communication purgatory, as he is currently on a lap now in his Williams. He is making his way through the S's and the... Yeah, I remember seeing Dwight quite a few times in Div 6 last season. It feels like last season was like a lifetime ago, but also feels like just yesterday. Crazy how time works. As Sorokin is trying to set his best time on his opening lap. There is some yellow sectors, but that is just slow moving machines on a cooldown. And now we do see Sorokin making his way around towards Spoon. He does have a little bit of traffic ahead of him, but it hopefully won't be of any issue. As the Williams driver is going to go ahead and turn on the afterburners and try to burn all that Duracell battery all the way down, coming into 130R. And he's going to go ahead and just pin the throttle down all the way, coming into the Casio triangle. Nicely done. Over the curbs a little bit. Very nice curb usage there, and he's just going to go ahead and fire down the final corner. And it is good enough for P7 actually, so that's a very good first run there from the Williams driver.
Yeah, and as he crossed the line, rising the Mercedes right behind him there, 128.4, now 2/10 up on provisional pole there.
Indeed, and we are going to go ahead and do an onboard lap with Soup. And actually, that was very convenient timing there, as there was a request for it, and here we go. He's actually already burned a good amount of battery, so yeah, actually, I think he's going to be taking this as a bit of a cool down lap, I think. So
Yeah, he just said his first time there, Wreckers, so it was a 1:30.5, placing him up into P15.
yeah, so we'll come back. We'll come back. We'll do another lap with Soup, but he's gonna go ahead and just harvest for a bit. So we'll keep an eye on him, and we'll come back to fulfill that onboard request. It will happen. We're just gonna wait just a bit as Wolf is now making his way through. He's not quite improving, but he's also kind of harvesting. So a lot of drivers are harvesting at the moment, trying to really build up for the final runs here, because we are about to enter the rush hour, when its traffic is going to be at its absolute worst, and when everything is going to be pretty much red hot on the track. The most rubber is put down, everybody is trying to gear up for their final runs, and then it is pretty much just all to play for. The floodgates will open, and everybody is going to go ahead and just come out swinging. But the question is, do you think Rise is going to hold on to this pole position, or do you think somebody will take the throne?
It's a very competitive time at the moment. Currently 2/10 ahead of D White here as they start rolling out of the pit, some of these guys, their last lap. One I'm interested in watching, he's on a lap right now, I believe, is Chevy Wolves. So it'll be very interesting. I think he's one that, oh no. I think Chevy's done. He's 3 seconds down at the end of Sector 2 there, and he's not going to have enough time to get back out again for another lap. So Chevy will not improve. I was just about to sing the praises, but that's his session done, and he'll be watching, hoping that these guys do not set many more times, because he will start dropping down that order if they do.
Yeah, pretty much everybody now is either on an outlap or currently on track at the moment. So Rockin, the Williams driver, is now continuing to make his way on through. And the team we haven't even talked about recently is Kick Sauber. Kick Sauber right now is dominating here in Div 5 2 rounds in. P1 and P2 in the drivers and in the lead of the constructors. So they're definitely going to be a team to be here tonight. But Sorokin is looking really rapid there in the Williams. So he's going to go ahead and make his way on through. He was about 0.6 of a second up last time I saw him. And he's going to come across the line. And that's good enough for P2. Only 82 hundredths of a second. Just ahead of, or just behind Rise. So Sorokin, the latecomer to the session, actually got a pretty good result there. So Krojak is now going to go ahead and give it a attempt for his first recorded lap of the session. Himself and Shining Swarm both getting ready to do battle here in the terms of a time trial, try to get the best qualifying lap humanly possible. And we will see how this one is going to go to play out. Krojak now got a 32.5 in Sector 2, or in Sector 1, so now he's making his way through to Sector 2. We'll see what he can go ahead and accomplish. He's going to go ahead and turn on the afterburners here, going to burn up pretty much a majority of his remaining battery coming down here. He's only down to 8%, so Dwight has retired. He will start from P3 unless Krojak.
I think he's crashed. He's on track, so I think he's crashed.
Oh, and Krojak's invalidated. So Krojak will not set a time. What about Shining Swarm? Can Shining Swarm set a time here? He has not invalidated, so that's going to be a bit of a rough one. And we're going to see here as Shining Swarm is going to go ahead and go through. No invalidation yet, so there will be a lap from Shining Swarm, and it's going to be good enough for P10. So the Haas driver starts in P10. What a lap there it is. About 1 second off, but still, from 0 to top 10, pretty good result there when push came to shove.
Definitely was, and the one to watch here now with the people that have still got laps left, I think the two to really watch, or the one to really watch now is probably TMT Legend. Can he make a move here on that pole position at all? As he's coming down sector 2 here, burning his battery right down. And he's into sector 3 here. It'll be interesting to see if he gets this last bit right. He's about to approach a little bit of traffic here as he comes down towards the last corner. But he's got a clear run now. They've ducked into the pits, that last car, I believe. And he's coming down to the line. It's a 1:28.603 up into P3. And that will finalise our grid for the race ahead. Here, Wreckers, what are your thoughts about that session?
Mercedes has definitely got something to smile about here. Kick Sauber has dominated so far, but with that rapid time from Rise, he's looking to put an end to Kick Sauber's winning streak here. They're looking for a three-peating Grand Prix, and so far they have won everything up until this point. It's going to be Rise ahead of Sorokin, TMT Legend, Div5, Chevy Wolves, Dilby, Mr. Panda, Naya, Uncle Morty, Poland, Sepher, Milano, Shining Swarm, and then we have V-Roms, Woofa, Soup, Risen, Kenobi, and Crowjack, who was unable to set a time due to track limit violations. And starting from the back of the grid is a tough one, as you've experienced, Keeper. Talking about I think you had a quali ban last time you raced, so trying to get overtakes from the back of the grid is not going to be easy for this one.
No, it's not. The most important thing these guys need to remember is to just be patient off the start here. You've probably got one of the most difficult starts to a track on the calendar here at Suzuka, where you go straight into a really fast right-hander, but for the back of the grid, you're probably braking a lot before that first one, because all the front of the grid are jumping on the brakes there to get ready to go into those S's as they come around turn 1. So you just got to be very careful, be patient and aware of the vehicles in front of you here off the start. Otherwise, it could be absolute chaos early on here.
Exactly that. So we're going to just go ahead and wait for these drivers to get their strategies. Strategy is likely going to be a one-stop here. I don't really foresee a two-stop unless the safety car comes out, which it did happen actually quite a bit in Div 1, so anything is possible. Div 5 is a very explosive division in both good and bad ways, so we'll see if they can keep it clean going into turn 1. I'm going to go ahead and have...
Sorry, you go.
I was going to say, I'm going to have good faith that they're going to survive turn 1.
Yeah, no, I think they will too. They're a pretty good division here. But yeah, I think one stop's definitely is. Anyway, I'll hand over to you, Wreckers, as the lights come on.
And here we go. It is lights out in Japan. And we are racing here for round number 3 of the season. And actually, what a launch there from TMT. Already jumping up into... And also, Rocket's had a terrible launch. He's already down into P6. TMT up into P2, challenging for P1 in the early stages. And Sorokin had a very rough go of things here in his opening lap. Did not get the launch he needed, even about to lose another position to Dilby there. Currently in P7. But Crowjack's also made up quite a few positions as well, down in P16. He's started last, he's up to 16th already and trying to get one out to the Williams! And there's contact in the spin through the Degnas and a bit of calamity through the Degnas. And Wolf is off the track. He's off into the gravel. He will rejoin. There's the end plate missing from the Aston Martin. And drama is already kicking off here in the opening stages of this Japanese Grand Prix. Rise, though, already breaking a full second away from TNT here in the opening lap.
Yeah, Rise is very quick, and it's very important to try and stick with him here. But TMT coming under a lot of pressure too from D White there as they come round 130, and yeah, it's a very big gap on that first lap there. He's going to take some chasing down. If they fight too hard, he's just going to run away from them here. They need to work together and try and get back in touch with Rise.
That indeed, and he's going to go ahead and try to hold on. But yeah, I mean, Rise is already about 2 seconds up the road. So, I mean, that's a really strong telltale sign that Mercedes came to play here today. And Krojak, I mean, I know Krojak's not in a great spot. He's just on the, he's pretty much right in the points, barely. But considering that he started in 19th, he's already made up several positions just off of the opening lap. So the Mercedes driver is already in a pretty good spot pace-wise. He just could not hook up that lap when he needed to.
That Wreckers, it's really important to qualify well here at Japan, but he's off to a great start as he's just got past Paulin Hill as well, and Paulin Hill dropped right off, so something might have happened there because he's up to P14 now, Krojak.
As the race strategies pop up, we'll bring up the tires real quick. A majority of the field running the medium tire compound with 4 drivers opting to start on the hards. And actually, Wufa and Shining actually did make a pit stop to repair damage that they had to their respective machines. So, and actually, Krojak just made a mighty move on the Zephyr there. So, Krojak is definitely going to be a driver to watch out for because they definitely came to play here today, this Mercedes team. Taking a look in the driver standings here, I mean, Wise is actually not too far off. He's only about 3 points away from the championship leader, so definitely not the race start he would have wanted, but he can certainly try to do some damage limitation, as Kenobi has actually gotten a 3-second time penalty for track limit violations, and Paulin is into the pits. So a bit of drama here to kick things off. We go up to P5 with Chevy Wolves trying to chase down Naya. But, I mean, right now, Kick Sauber look to extend their lead in the championship. So we'll see how things go. They're in a really good spot now. But Rise, I think, would be in a position to reclaim the Drivers' Championship, as it's going to be Naya and Chevy scrapping it out through the hairpin. A bit of bumping, a bit of paint trading here between the two, as the White's now going to try to look for a move on to TMT, and he's got it. And at this stage, this would put Rise in the lead of the Drivers' Championship for Mercedes.
Yeah, this is a brilliant drive here from Rise early on. Already 3.5 seconds up the track. The fighting, obviously taking nothing away from him. He's got off to a great start and put a gap out there. But these guys fighting the way they have been in his first couple of laps have just allowed him to run away here. And unless something goes wrong from here, the rest of them look like they're going to be fighting for best of the rest here, Eckers, because Rise is just driving off into the distance here.
Yeah, kind of like the Jono did in Div1, just got checked out for a bit. But if that race is anything to go by, then safety cars will bring him back to the rest of the pack, and then he's going to have to be rapid on the rolling start. Got to be rapid on the restart if that is the case. But right now, Rise can just really focus on building up that gap, but he's got to be careful not to burn out his tires too early. And it looks like somebody just had a bit of a rallycross trip. I think that might have actually been Naya. Naya's getting very much on the edge. So Naya might be staring down the barrel of a penalty coming his way if he goes over track limits too many more times. He did go off into Degna a little bit earlier on, and then also went off a little bit beforehand, just coming through the S's. So, once again, I know he's on those hard tires that don't have as much grip as the mediums, but if he's not careful, then that penalty could really put a hurting on Kick Sauber.
Apparently Shining needs an invite, so I'll work on that, Wreckers.
Alright, and now we're going to see who's going to make a move here coming into 130R. The answer is, as of right now, not really anyone, but the main thing when it comes to 130R is you want to at least get a good enough exit so where you're close enough coming through Casio, because if you're close enough coming through Casio, then you're going to have a really good run with DRS and the slipstream. This one should be a bit of a slam dunk here for the McLaren, and he's going to go to get a pass with no real issues, and the two Saubers actually kind of squaring off right behind the McLaren man. So this will be a beautiful result for the Papaya team, but the Sauber team, they're not going to be entirely complaining. But Rise is definitely going to enjoy that championship lead.
We do have Shining Swarm back in the session now, so that'll be good. He'll be able to try and... Obviously, I don't know if his AI's pitted on him or if he had wing damage or what, but he's a long way off the back of P16 there, so he'll just have to put his head down and push hard to try and find his way back into this one here. But we've got some very good battles going on up the front here. Wreckers between D White and TMT just trading places. A little bit of a gap there now that D White started to build, but TMT is sticking with him, even though putting the wheels on the grass a bit there. Risky game to play. Very easy to lose it around here if you get in the grass.
Exactly that. And you were kind of talking about it earlier on during qualifying that the gravel traps here are practically just loaded with magnets because they will pull your car pretty much straight into them, really. It's like they got their own gravitational pull, so you got to really be careful and try to avoid that gravel. The number 46 kick salver of TMT is going to try to retake P2 and try to minimize the damage on his championship lead. As it sits right now, Rise will be your championship leader, but he's going to try to move to the inside, but D White's sticking on the outside. They're scrapping it out, trying here, but here's the thing. The more these guys battle, the more that Rise just continues to run away with this one. So these guys really got to be careful not to let Rise get... I mean, Rise is already 5 seconds up the road, so you got to be even more careful not to just make it worse.
Yeah, that's right. He's just nearly 5.5 seconds up the road now, as you said there. So nice cruisy drive for him at the moment. Off in clean air, which will be helping his tyres as well. So yeah, he'll be just have to take it easy really out there at the moment. Just keep doing what he's doing and not make any mistakes, and hope to God there's no safety car that puts the pressure back on him here. But Naya doing very well on those hards, sticking with the top 4 here. And as you can see a bit further down with Dilby there, he's out of DRS and he's got a DRS train sitting behind him as Mr. Panda's just fallen off that now, and Crowjag's starting to close in on that too, all the way up into P12 from where he started. And once he gets past Mr. Panda, his next mission will be to get onto that DRS and try and see what he can do there.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked about that TMT legend is going to try to do some damage limitation. Oh, he goes wide, and oh, who do we got in the background? Somebody spun around, and that's Milano. Milano's been spun around. He's fallen back down the order. TMT legend, current championship leader, has fallen down to 5th. So something must have went pear-shaped there for the Sauber. And now he's fallen quite far down the order. Soup is also fallen down the order. Soup is spun around in the S's. Is that going to bring a safety car? The answer is no. No safety car yet, but man, it gets close to one. And seeing that there is yellows is exactly what this man right here, Rise, does not want to see. He has risen to the occasion here, but he does not want to see that safety car whatsoever.
No, that's it. The worst thing that can happen for Mercedes right now is a safety car to bring Rise back into these guys, because we do know D White is very experienced. Nia Eshe has been reserving up into Div 4 for a few weeks now and has been more than competitive in Div 4, so we know he's got the pace as well. And then you've got the experience of Chevy Wolves and TMT and Uncle Morty all back there too, so you know, a safety car bringing him back in could put a whole world of pressure on him with the experience and pace that is there as well.
Exactly that. So, I mean, you got to be really, really careful. And, I mean, actually, come to think of it, Mercedes is in an interesting position right now, because the safety car would be the worst yet best thing for them right now. It'd be a real tale of two cities. There's Naya now up into P2, and Naya's actually had a pretty good run himself. I know we were talking about Crowjag, who's currently up 9 positions as it sits right now, but Naya is up 6. So, granted, not as much as 9, but that's still a pretty impressive upturn there for the Sauber driver. So, Sauber's still got some stuff to be happy about here in today's race. They are currently P1 to P2 in the drivers and leading the constructors here. But, I mean, but Rise is really not that far behind. Rise really could just jump both of them here if the results got to stay where they are at the moment. And of course, something that we really haven't talked about Yeah, it is the overalls too. The overalls, that's the big one. Sauber leads the overalls at the moment with Mercedes being their closest rival at this point. So there's multiple layers to this rivalry, kind of like lasagna. And I won't talk about food too much because otherwise I'm going to make myself extremely hungry here. As we see, Div5 is going to be hungry for that overtake. But he's got some ground to eat up if he wants to get that done.
Yeah, 100%. And Naya's doing very well here. As we said, he's on the hards. His hards are be coming in now as their meds are starting to go out too. So it's probably going to be very hard to actually stick with him. What's going to be interesting is to see how much use he can make of those hard tyres, because he's got the clean air and he's obviously going to be, they're going to be pitting onto fresh hards while he's going to be on older hards. Will they be able to undercut him, and is he going to come out into a heap of traffic, albeit onto the fresher tyre?
TMT went very, very wide there, coming through turn 1, and that has allowed Uncle Morty to come back through. So that is not great news there for the current championship leader of TMT Legend, having a bit of a rough go at things here at Suzuka. He's got Sorokin now, who will be catching up to him if he continues to make mistakes. But now Uncle Morty, him and Uncle Morty are going to go to do battle here. It is Sauber versus Alpine, and the Sauber will win out the battle for now on those medium tires. But look at this, Uncle Morty going to try to get a dive up into the hairpin, but it is still going to be TMT Legend holding on to that for now. And we will see TMT Legend trying to hold on, but we got to also think track limits might also be coming for him as well. He's had a few wide moments there, so he's got to be real careful there. So Uncle Morty, but Uncle Morty's also got Sorokin to kind of think about as well, so that could be a fun kind of midfield battle here as we are on lap 10 out of 27, and we are not quite halfway through. We're roughly almost halfway through, but still a good amount of racing left to go here in Japan, Keeper.
Yeah, that's it, and we did miss it before. Milano has just jumped into the pits now, but Mr. Panda was the first one to jump in, not to do with damage, to go for the undercut here onto the hards. Came out into fresh air. How much use of this fresh air can he make, and where's he going to come out when the rest of them pit here? Like, where's he going to be? Because that was, yeah, he's pitted a lot earlier than the rest of them have even considered, although a couple are starting to jump in now, so it'd be interesting to watch that one and see how that plays out, because he has a lot of clean air at the moment to put those new tyres to good use here.
Yeah, we'll see how these drivers do. Milano now gonna take advantage of that clear air and just try to get some heat into those hard tires. They do take the longest to heat up out of any tire in the Pirelli range, and so he's gonna, I mean, the S's are a really good way to try to get those tires fired up. So he's gonna do what he can there, try to fire up those tires and get things rolling. But we do know that it is gonna be tricky to try to make up a lot of ground here. You gotta really just be on the ball, on the pace, as Chevy is trying to close in to Dwight. Dwight has actually fallen out of DRS range from Naya, so that's gonna be a little less pressure on the Sauber driver, who's really gonna just try to become best of the rest at this point, because I mean that gap between him and Rise, it is 2023 Verstappen levels of just in a different time zone.
Yeah, 100% there, Wreckers. So, yeah, it's very big battles going on up the front here. You can see D White still managing to stay in that DRS right now of Chevy Wolves here. So this is going to be an interesting battle to keep watch on too. And obviously Uncle Morty is still in that DRS zone of TMT Legend too. So a couple of good battles going on here at the front. I think we're going to see a lot of position swaps between these guys over the course of this race.
Yeah, I agree, honestly, because I mean you're going to see a lot of traded positions here. Sorokin is also going to be a threat. We can't forget about the Williams driver who qualified really well, but just had a very bad start, and now he's still trying to recover from that. But also, we got to talk about this man right here. Krojak has just been absolutely on fire here in that Mercedes. And he has seriously made his way through this pack right now. I mean, if
Yep,
the
up to
season...
P8.
Good.
Yeah, up to P8 here from where he started is a very, very good start. Obviously, some of those positions in the last couple of laps have come from some pit stops from others, but he's got a bit of clean. He's got a lot of clean air right now. So if he can really push with the pace that we know that he has, he might be able to just completely rule out the undercut from the other drivers that have pitted before him anyway. If he can really push here, he might be able to hold some of those positions.
Yeah, Chevy actually comes into the pits now on lap 12. So we'll see. He's going to probably plop onto the hard tires to try to get to the end here. We will see. Yep, he's got the hard tires on. And he's going to try to bring the Honda Red Bull all the way to the end of this one. It's going to be a bit of a tricky one trying to get 15 laps on this set of tires. But it is definitely doable here. As now,
he can definitely do it. I got forced into an early after wing damage lap 6 last night onto the hards, took him to the end, so that can definitely be done. And I was only just over 60% at the end, so if they look after those tyres, they can definitely do it.
yes, I mean it is definitely doable. It will take some management, but it is 100% doable. So we'll see how it goes. Zephyr getting a 3-second time penalty for track limit violations. Only the second driver to get it here tonight. There may be more. I think there's a few drivers that are actually pretty close in that regard. So we do have Milano now, who is pretty much right on the back of Kenobi, battling here for P11. And Milano just on fresher tires, able to make that move look easy coming into the hairpin before making his way to Spoon. So far, very good stuff here. Good outlaps here from the Racing Bulls driver, running that graffiti livery. It's a very nice livery. I wouldn't mind seeing more graffiti style liveries on the grid in the near future. But right now, everybody is pretty much really spread out here, as it's pretty much just really waiting for pit stops here.
And look at the gap Chevy Wolves is going to have here on these guys after pitting before them. He is going to have a huge gap on these guys that have just come out of the pits, that pitted one lap after him. So very well done by Chevy pitting when he did. And he's got a lot of clean air to really put that pace we all know he has to good use here now. 3.5 seconds ahead of D White here after pitting one lap earlier.
Very good stuff there from the Red Bull driver. As now we drop down to the closest battle on track at the moment is Panda versus Uncle Morty. Both of these drivers they both have already pit. It is Panda on 4-lap older tires though, so Uncle Morty on that fresh rubber, gonna be able to. We'll see if he can make the most of it. He's in a pretty advantageous position at this point, but we'll see if he can keep that advantageous position if he's got the pace to try to extend, and it looks like he does. He did just break DRS range. Oh, but here's a crucial one. Naya, 3-second time penalty for track limit violations. That's a crucial one here, Keeper.
It is. That could be a big one here. Obviously, he's going a lot longer than everyone else, although I would say now Rise, TMT and Sirotkin are really pushing these meds to their limits. They are really going to be on worn tyres now, so these guys that have just pitted onto fresh hards, this is their chance to really make up some positions on these guys and make up some time on these guys, because, yeah, those meds will be getting very worn now.
Yeah, you're also potentially even pushing the limit for the hard tires, really. So, I mean, if you're Sauber, your engineers have a really tough choice ahead. Because, I mean, TMT is getting reeled in by Sirotkin lap by lap by lap. But here's the thing, though. I mean, who do you pit first, or do you try a double stack? I think you got a good amount of time between them to definitely go for the double stack. That's certainly possible. So, I mean, that's honestly probably really the best call, is to try to get these guys to potentially double stack. Otherwise, I would definitely pit TMT first, because that hard tire can go the distance. The medium, on the other hand, that thing's probably holding out for dear life at this stage of the Grand Prix. As now we'll see, and Rise is in the pits, so that'll at least trigger one of the Saubers to come in. Which Sauber, oh, it looks like it's going to be Naya, so it looks like it might be, never mind, it is not going to be Naya, it's neither Sauber. So both Saubers are going to continue on. I
This
don't
is an
think that's the
interesting one
right
for
call.
TMT. Yeah, no, this is a very interesting one. I think he's losing way too much time to these guys on those fresh hards now with 14-lap old meds. I would not be surprised to see him come out in like a long way down, like P8 or something, by the time he comes out here with the time that they're making up.
Yeah, so I think, yeah, I agree. I even agree with SJ and Chad. I think that was the wrong call there for Sauber. I think Naya definitely could have stayed out. Naya could definitely stay out. I think he's got potential, but TMT definitely should have came in at that point. And also, he's had quite a few offs as well earlier, so those tires are definitely not in a great spot, really. They are probably absolutely cooked at this point. So, yeah, I think he really, unless the only reason I can see him trying to push these tires this long is if he's trying to get it to a point where he can actually go onto the softs and really try to make up some progress. But that is such a hyper-aggressive strategy that it's really not worth it.
No, I think at this point in time he's risking a puncture.
I hear that it's potentially going to rain in a couple of laps. So if that is what TMT is holding out for, I mean, he's holding out for a hero at the end of the night. So we'll see. But no, he stays out again. I mean, that. If that were me, well, I would have already had a puncture.
Too. I would too. I definitely would.
Yeah, so it's potentially going to rain. So maybe that's what these Saubers are waiting for. But I mean, oh, but Sorokin's also pushing those tires too. So I think Sorokin is trying to. I think what the strategy call here is just mirror. You got to mirror TMT. Is probably the strategy call given. But then at that point, that actually puts Nye in a really, really good spot here. Rise is trying to go ahead and keep up as well, so fastest lap currently does belong to...
This could make for a very interesting finish here. If this rains, some drivers, this can change the whole grid here. Some drivers are very good in the wet, some not so much, so we could see an absolute turn of the tables here if this rains, and if these guys manage to pull off the one stop into the rain. This could be an absolutely brilliant finish here, Wreckers.
Exactly that, and I mean, yeah, actually rain is expected in 5 minutes, so yeah, and actually Sorokin has actually fallen off of TMT, so TMT was able to build up about half a second on this lap alone. So maybe that is going to be the call for these top three, is just hold out for either a safety car or for rain. And then that's going to really change up this whole dynamic. I mean, this whole race is about to be flipped up on its head. And, oh, there it is. The rain has hit. So, that is, you know what, Sauber? I will confess I was not familiar with your game. That actually, we were saying that was a really bad strategy call. Everybody said it was, but now with the rain coming, Sauber, you guys are fortune tellers. That is for certain. Because look at that. The rain is here, and we can see it. So in about a lap or two, we'll probably see these guys try to pit in for intermediate if they don't pit in already. I mean, honestly, I would maybe try to take the pit stop now if I were these guys, just because of the state of the tires, but what?
Yeah, once you can see the rain, it goes to intermediates pretty quickly here. So this is absolute genius move. Obviously, they've got some access to information we didn't have, and this is a brilliant strategy here from Kick and from the Williams for Sorokin here, because they could, yeah, this is massive, massive, massive change to the race here, and it could bring Rise undone.
Yeah, I mean, that is just masterclass there from Sauber. But no, Naya stays out. Are we going to see TMT come in? No, he stays out as well. Sorokin also staying out, so these guys are staying out again. But here's the thing, Rise on those much fresher tires has already started to close the gap. Kenobi's on the inters, so he's already made the pivot. So probably next lap is probably when we're going to see the tires. Oh, but Rise is right here. And here's the thing though, that whole strategy could come undone if Rise makes these passes, and he's going to try to make a move through the S's. But Sorokin's a bit jittery at the moment, but that is going to be a generationally easy pass. But now we'll see. Rise is pretty much caught up right to the back of TMT. 3-lap hard tires versus 17-lap mediums. That's hardly going to be a contest.
It's definitely not Inter's weather yet. Romy One Kenobi's lost 1.5 seconds since he's come out of the pits there, so definitely not ready for Inter's yet. He is dropping right off the back of Shining Swarm there, so smart call by these guys to stay out a bit longer. It's definitely not Inter's weather yet.
Yeah, so who I think Rise actually, I mean, it's a good strategy call there from Sauber to try it, but it's maybe one of those things where it's good in theory, but in practice we're kind of being proven wrong to being proven right to being proven wrong again, essentially. Because look at this now. I mean, that fresher tires on Rise, that's gonna try to make all the difference. And really, the thing for now is that TMT really needs to be a buffer. He needs to be that kind of like that 2021 Checo Perez and just try to defend. But there it is. But now he's looking like the defense of 2025 Abu Dhabi Sonoda. Just straight on through. Rise on a much better tires at this stage. The rain needs to really intensify for Naya to really be able to kind of make the most of it here.
Yeah, that's 100% right. Here you can see TMT and Sorokin are really struggling now on those 18-lap old meds, and that's going to bring Chevy Wolves back into this one soon too, I reckon, as he's starting to close the gap as well. Quite rapidly too.
But here's the thing, if the rain doesn't get heavy enough, then actually Naya, TMT, and Sorokin might have also kind of screwed themselves, because I think you still have to do that mandatory tire change, because the race didn't start on inters or wets. So he might be kind of cooked here.
Yeah, that's it. And you can see Romy One Kenobi's now lost up to 5 or 6 seconds, but Wolf has made the jump onto inters now as well here, so it'll be interesting to see. Well, I think Romy One Kenobi's had a big moment because he's just dropped right off.
Oh yeah, he's actually in the pit, so.
He is too.
Let's see. Oh, and speeding in the pit lane to add insult to injury. Romy One Kenobi could not use his Jedi mind tricks to trick the sensors there. It is unfortunate stuff there for the McLaren. And he's going to jump into pits.
Naya's in.
Oh, a set of slicks for Kenobi.
He's gone back to slicks. And as Naya's come into the pits and gone on to inters here, so he's the first front runner to make that change to inters. It'll be interesting to see how this one plays out for him now.
I personally still think that's kind of not the right call. I think you really should have put in TMT first. Because, I mean, TMT is on the worst tire at this stage.
He's gone round on the inters. Naya's gone round on the inters.
Oh no, that is unfortunate news there for Naya, and whew, well, Sauber was kind of really in a kind of screwed if you did, screwed if you didn't kind of position, because they needed a pit, and now Chevy is fighting it out with TMT. So yeah, I think Sauber, I think we were right from the get-go that Sauber kind of overcooked the strategy to the point where it's just, it got cooked even beyond well done. That's burnt.
Yeah, so you look at Rise, he's already 8.5 seconds up the road, and he only got past them a lap or two ago. So he is absolutely flying on those hards still.
Yeah,
as Chevy Wolves now catches TMT.
Oh, look at that. What happened there? They both go deep into the Casio triangle. Sorokin and Chevy get a bit tangled up. And now Sorokin's in. But TMT now. TMT,
Chevy might be a little bit strife there too for that rejoin. That will be one to watch after the race.
TMT, I think. How TMT has not got a puncture yet is beyond me. There is. I could not. The fact that he does not have a puncture yet on those mediums is insane to say the least. But honestly, like in chat, they're saying that one of the Saubers was gonna lose out. Honestly, I think both of them are.
Yep. If I was Rise here, I wouldn't even worry about inters. By the time everyone else pits onto inters, he could just nurse these hards all the way to the end with only 6 laps to go here. He's got an 12 second lead.
Chevy getting a very easy move up the inside. TMT unable to defend. Uncle Morning now has actually made him quite a few positions as well, so he'll be able to potentially jump straight into this fight and try to go ahead and get on the podium here. Because TMT, he is going to need to pit. At some point, he will need to pit.
Oh, he's going to have to. He's still on the first set of tyres, so he's going to have to pit at some point here. And the longer he stays out on, the more he's getting caught, the more cars that are going past him. He's going to fall right down the order here.
He's kind of a sudden duck at this point. He needs to come in. Honestly, he needs to come in just throw on a set of soft tires and just try to send in a Hail Mary. Yeah, that's what he does. He's in the pits finally, so he's probably going to jump on. I'm going to say he's actually going to try to set I think he's going to be in turns. I would personally try to do softs, but oh, no, never mind. I was right on the first attempt. Softs it is for the Sauber, but man, Sauber lost out big time here tonight. Mercedes actually might jump him into constructors.
Crowjag's up to P5 here. Started in P18 with P18 I think, or 19, sorry. P19 and he's up to P5. So this has been a great drive from Crowjag, channeling his inner governor from that performance last night in Div4. Has had an absolutely amazing race.
Yeah, so I think at this point Mercedes is going to take the Drivers' Championship lead here on round 3. With Rise winning this one pretty comfortably as well, but now Crowjag is going to be under some pressure from Soup. Soup trying to get a nose in, trying to get a bill in, and we'll see if he can get it done. Not quite. The Alpine's going to give it a go though. The Alpine is not backing down, never giving up, giving it a go, giving it the old college try, trying to make things happen, but Crowjag just handling that spoon absolutely perfectly, and now he's going to continue on here. But Uncle Morty though, he's had a pretty good run himself here. Now let's take a look at the positional changes. Crowjag up 14 positions, Soup up 10 positions, and actually that's going to be even more as Chevy's in the pits and DeWhite's in the pits. Or no, who's ahead of him in the pits there? That's a McLaren.
Romy
it's
Kenobi.
And yeah, Kenobi's out, so that is one retirement of the race. But look at this, almost about to be 3 wide going into turn 1. Soup goes a bit wide there. The track is going to be a tad greasy due to the rain, but with 5 to go, I mean, it's pretty much anyone's ball game here in this mid-pack.
Yeah, it's very tight in the mid-pack here. As you can see, the front of the field spread right out there. Rise out to a 16-second gap now. Now, D. White another 2 seconds further back from Uncle Morty. All the action here right in the middle pack, just outside those podium positions.
And speaking of, we did get an onboard lap request for Crowjag, so when he starts on lap 24, we will go ahead and jump on board with the Alpine driver, but Naya's actually lost an end plate, so Naya is not going to be in the best of spots here. Going to be vulnerable to Soup, as Crowjag has had a generational run here tonight. If the game does not give him driver of the day, then that is going to be a crime of the century. Like, I will personally handwrite a letter to EA telling them that was tomfoolery. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and hop on board with Crowjag, and the keeper, I'll let you take this lap.
Thank you, Wreckers. So yeah, you can see Krojak here sitting in P4 on the 10-lap old hard with Naya behind him here on 3-lap old inters. And I think those inters are starting to come in now because Naya is starting to look a lot more competitive even with wing damage here. As Naya looks to try and get a move done, but he's tucked back in behind him here and he's going to jump back out again. Is he going to make the dive down into turn 1? He does, and there's contact here and it's pushed Krojak off the track. Oh, that one is definitely not going to make Krojak happy as he loses out 2 positions after Naya sticks his nose in on him. Oh, that's going to be some heated words in the pit lane after this one, I think, Wreckers. Not what you want to see there for Krojak, who's had such a good race here. You need to get his head down here. 3.5 laps to go. He can make that back up again. He just needs to get his head back down. As you can see, it's going to start to look darker and darker on that track, and that rain's getting a bit heavier here, so these inters really will come into play for some of these guys now, I think. As you can see here, Krojak now heading up towards the hairpin, closing that gap down already, and TMT's making moves on those softs, so he's back up into P7 now, and next in his sights is Krojak, who's 4.5 seconds up the road from him here. Krojak looks to be not struggling, but definitely not gaining a heap of time back here on Suit for Duck. There's no damage to his car from that contact from what we can see though, so he'll just have to put his head down and keep pushing here, Krojak, and try and get back up to P4 where he was. He burns down the straight here. You can just see TMT in the background there. He's closing that gap now, 3.4 seconds. So he is on the march on those softs, but obviously it's still in the balance here between those inters and those slick tyres. They seem to be pretty balanced at the moment, where neither tyre is really better than the other. As Krojak comes across the line at the end of that lap, and not the lap he would have wanted. Unfortunately, it started absolutely horribly for him, Wreckers.
Yeah, and I mean, it's very slick out there now, so it's going to be really difficult too for these guys here to really try to keep their car on the road if they're not on the inters. So we'll see. I think there's a bit of drama involving a McLaren. No, I think it was just a temporary yellow flag. But I mean, taking a look at the tires again at this stage, I mean, this is going to be a really interesting finish. Because, I mean, you got to think, you got 50% of the field on mediums and the other 50% on slicks. Or, sorry, inters and slicks. So you got pretty much everybody really just trying to figure out, like, how to survive, really. This is just a race of survival at this point. As Chevy Wolves is now caught up to TMT Legend. It is the softs versus the inters. Both tires probably not too dissimilar at this stage of the race. The rain has lined up a little bit here, but that track is still a bit greasy here as we begin lap number 26, and I'll pass this one over to you.
And we've got an onboard for Suit for Duck if we want to jump that on here for lap 26 so we can follow the action in the last lap.
So here
Suit
we
for
go.
Duck here sitting in P5 here as he gets ready to come around for the penultimate lap. 2.2 seconds behind Naya, who's managed to drive away on those inters now, but he has put a gap to Krojak. Krojak is not getting that gap back in on Suit for Duck here. So as you can see, D White has just jumped Uncle Morty for P2, so that's going to be a battle to keep an eye on there as we go into the last lap. But Suit for Duck here coming around turn 1 and heading up towards the S's here. Kind of just sitting a bit of nowhere at the moment, just a bit of space in front of him, a bit of space behind him here. Just needs to keep it tidy through this lap, and he should be able to just bring this thing home in P5 with relatively no pressure, as long as he makes no mistakes here, because Krojak is still a fair bit off him at the moment, although does seem to be closing that gap a little bit through the S's there. So that might be a setup thing, because he was losing space on the straights but gaining it through those tight corners. See, TMT is now closed into DRS of Krojak. I'm not even sure DRS has been turned off yet, has it? So
I don't think so, no. And I mean, even then, DRS is really on just one part of the track. It's just on the start-finish straight, so yeah, I'm not too sure about that.
And Chevy Wolves has now made the move, but yeah, we stay on Suit for Duck here as he heads towards these double left-hander here for the big straight, where you will no doubt see him burn here and try and put up a bit of a gap to Krojak here so he can take this last lap nice and comfortable. with plenty of free air around. He's been a very tidy lap here for him. He's just kept that gap to behind him and kept the gap in front of him pretty much where it was at the start of the lap there. So nice tidy lap there from Soup for Duck. Just doing what he needs to do here to hold his position. If he can gain a bit more time though, Eshe does have that 3-second penalty, so he would want to push here on this last lap. Records, I'll let you take it away.
All right, now we're on to the final lap of the Japanese Grand Prix here tonight. And we're going to see just by Krojak and Chevy Wolves getting ready to do battle, but Krojak goes a bit wide. That part of the track is still pretty slick, so he is going to lose that position. So DRS is just now disabled. Too little, too late, because there's nobody that can even benefit from DRS at this point of the race. So it's going to be a tightly knit battle between these guys here for P6 and P7 at the moment. And it's going to be a tough battle here. We'll see who can get this one done. P5 going to be under a little bit of threat as well, but the driver who has been under zero threat all night long is the man who's going to go to put Mercedes back on top. He was only 3 points behind now, and now he has extended to now being the championship leader of Div5. He has risen to the occasion, and he'll rise to the top step of the podium. Rise wins the Japanese Grand Prix by almost 30 seconds. What a gap. That is insane, to say the least. With Dwight now coming through, he'll come home in P2 with much needed points for McLaren. They had only 7 to start the week off, but he'll get even more than that now. And Uncle Morty will round out the podium. Naya tries to get the pass done, but the penalties will come back to bite the Sauber. And actually send the Sauber down to even as far as P6.
He picked up another 3-second in that chicane right at the end there, which has cost him 2 extra positions there, because he did have a big enough gap with only the 3-second penalty.
That is unfortunate for the Saubers, but what a race it has been for a Mercedes. I mean, 12 positions gained for Krojak, 11 for Soup. So, and actually, Uncle Morty's up 6. So, Alpine and Mercedes, definitely the top 2 teams of the night, in my opinion.
Oh, definitely. 1st and 7th with massive positions gained, and a 3rd and 5th. Big bulk points there. And what has been looking like a kick division to just run away with and do things easily, it's just come undone for them a little bit here, and that pressure will get put back on them now from Mercedes and Alpine here in this division in the Constructors.
Yeah, that is I mean, it's a very insane Japanese Grand Prix. The weather really did spice things up, and just the uncertainty of strategies really kind of played massively into this one as the celebrations go live here in Japan. What a win there for the Mercedes Arise. Very well done to him. And the champagne will not spread as we are unfortunately frozen. So that's a bit of an unfortunate one. I don't know.
Yeah, it just come up on my screen that you've left the session.
Okay, well, I have crashed, so
Krojak, driver of the day, SJ, and fastest lap goes to Uncle Morty.
Yeah, so that is a game crash on my end, unfortunately. If you don't mind getting a screenshot of the results. Yeah, that is a perfectly timed crash, honestly, but go ahead and read the results if you have them available.
Yep, 2 seconds, just trying to grab a quick screenshot of this. Rightio. So yeah, we've got in P1, we have I'm not going to get it in time, I've just been put into communicating. This is not good. No, I'm not going to get them because I've been put into communicating with online services as they've disappeared, unfortunately.
That is unfortunate. I think one of the drivers will probably get a screenshot of it for us, but in the meantime, let's just talk about what a race that was here in Japan. I mean, Japan, it usually requires something to, because in a real life F1, it's usually not it's not the most entertaining track, but here in Rush, I mean, it has been cinema pretty much all week.
Yeah, 100%. That was a very entertaining race. Um, Obviously the weather just really threw some fireworks into the end there, spiced it up a little bit, caused some carnage, and very differing strategies, which paid off for some people and not for others, unfortunately.
Exactly that. So we're gonna go ahead and try to jump straight into interviews. We're gonna go to try to get our top three finishers in. So we will just kind of see how everyone's feeling after that one. But man, like we said, what a race that was.
Yeah, it definitely was, mate. Who got second and third in the end then? I'm trying to tag them, but
It
I lost the
was Uncle
results.
Morty and Dwight.
Thank you.
I remember that much about it, but man, what? I mean, that was. I think that was definitely a strategy race to say the least. I mean, it was really like some of the defining moments did come down to some drivers staying out extremely long, and I mean, shout out to TMT for getting those mediums to 20 laps on Suzuka. That is, I mean, that's an achievement in and of itself, really. So I think he probably got the well, he no longer leads the drivers' championship. I think he leads the championship entire management. That's for certain.
Yeah, that was absolutely insane to take them that long. I am absolutely amazed he did not get a puncture tonight. That was a very, very good effort, and Sirotkin as well, I think went nearly just as long. So very good effort by both drivers trying to take their tyres that long to get to the wet weather. Unfortunately, didn't quite pay off, but you've got a high risk, high reward in these situations sometimes. Sometimes they work in your favour, sometimes they just don't quite work out.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and jump into interviews with our P3 driver of Uncle Morty and Keeper. I'll let you take this one away.
First of all, Uncle Morty, congratulations on P3, mate.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Very good drive by you, mate. How did you find the race overall? I think you made up a fair few positions in the end, didn't you?
Yeah, it was all about knowing, like, just getting lucky with pitting, I guess, and the weather. Like, I just started the race reasonably solid, just mainly keeping my position, managed to pick off a couple, and then the rain started, and I'm like, well, and I didn't have my, normal engineer Dave, and I got messages late from the team, and I'm like, oh, I've got no idea normally what to do, so I just waited for the old adage when DRS gets disabled, and so stayed out, and then it sort of got to a point where I'm like, well, I'm sort of committed now. Whatever happens, happens, and then I got wing damage to add on top of it, and I'm like, do I just take my medicine and just finish where I finish? And then I kept watching the time frame to Nayesh, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna stick it out, come hell or high water now, and managed to hold on. So pretty stoked.
Yeah, no, well done, mate. That's great result for Alpine there. Both drivers finishing up pretty high, mate. So, congratulations to you. Congratulations to the team. And how do you feel about Australia?
Race there last night. I was pretty average, but I'm pretty average normally, so that doesn't change much. We'll see how we go.
No worries, mate. I'll pass you over to Reckers, and again, well done.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm just gonna have one question for you before we go to let you go enjoy your podium. Anyone you want to give a special thanks or a shout out to here tonight?
No, just the team. Like, I missed the start of the season because I was overseas, and Brad was good enough to draft me. So, and he's been a legend. Like, just no pressure. So he's great to race for, and we've got a really solid team. So we'll just give a shout out to the team. I think go Alpine.
All right. Well, once again, congratulations on your podium, and we'll see you in Australia.
Cheers, guys.
All right. So we're gonna jump from P3 to P2 with Dwight, who scored some much-needed points for McLaren. And Dwight, do we have you?
Hey, man.
There he is. All right. So Dwight, a very strong result. He had a very good qualifying. It really has not been the season that you would have wanted, or at least the start you would have wanted for McLaren. But that changed here tonight with a very strong P2. How do you feel?
Yeah, great, man. It's been a slow start, but keen to get into it. So for the next few weeks, it'll be a change.
All right, yeah. So I mean, very good points. Obviously, I think almost effectively tripled you and your team's points tally for Div5 at the moment. So good stuff there. Do you think you'll be able to keep up this run of form next week in Australia?
Yeah, it's my favourite track, so hopefully I do well there. I like the 100%ers as well. I was sweating this race, though, so we'll see how I'll go the next race.
Oh yeah, that's right. It is a 100% race. It is the first full distance race of the season, so that'll be a long one for certain. And now, last question before I pass you over: is there anyone you'd like to give a special thanks or shout out to here tonight?
Nah, just the team that was practicing on Saturday. Had a good run of Suzuka, so I had a good idea of what I was running into. Not the rain, but still kept the same strategy at the end, so it was good.
All right. Well, once again, congratulations on P2, and I'll pass you over to Keeper if he's got any other questions or comments.
Yeah, first of all, congratulations, D White. Very strong P2 result for you tonight, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, obviously strategy was a big talk in the comms box and a lot of comments going on in the stream too. Did you feel the pressure to have to jump, did you start stressing on your strategy when you seen the rain coming?
Yeah, sort of. I wish I was on hards at the start, for sure. But it was just more copy what the other two in front of me did. And the other ruled pit when the DRSs stopped, so... Just got lucky that it was the last lap. The last lap was the only one that I was actually struggling and had to slow down. And what I-30, that's fast one. So luckily that the race ended there.
Yeah, no, 100%. It looked like the rain was coming down a lot. It didn't look like it was coming down heavy, but it definitely looked like. Normally, a lot of people say when you see the rain, that means it's time for inters, because quite often on these games you can start getting those slippery conditions before the rain even comes up. But wasn't the case tonight. It was raining on stream for, I think, 6 or 7 laps before DRS got pulled. So I think that caused a lot of problems with a few people's strategies tonight. They're just not dropping as quickly or as heavy as they thought it was going to.
Exactly. It was whoever was brave enough to stay out. And I was lucky just copied the guys in front of me, and they were brave, so they pulled off the right strategy. So if they pitted, I would have pitted as well. So yeah, it was great.
Yeah. That's all right. Sometimes that's just what you got to do, mate, is follow the team in front of you, so you're on, you're in the same battle with the right people. So, congratulations, mate, on the P2 and getting the right, and getting the strategy right. So, yeah, all the best for Australia next week, and I hope to see McLaren on the up in Div5.
Cheers, guys. Thank you so much.
All right, last interview of the night. We're going to talk to the man who pretty much just got in front and then really just checked out, really. We're going to talk to Rise from Mercedes. Rise, do we have you?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, man. I mean, is Suzuka just that track for you? Because you were pretty much under zero threat that entire race.
Nah, to be honest, Suzuka's probably one of my bottom 3 tracks. Like, I've never really good at it. I did minimal practice over the weekend. I don't know. I got a PB in quali, and I don't know. It just happened, I guess.
All right. I mean, yeah, you pretty much just checked out from the get-go, and now I believe that you are leading the Drivers' Championship. So how do you feel about that?
Yeah, it feels good. After the last 2 races, I've kind of bottled. But yeah, it feels good to finally get a win, to lead the championship, and yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, I got a few more questions for you. Your teammate had a generational drive. I think at the end of it, he was up 12 positions from where he started because he just could not get the lap together at quali. I mean, what do you guys make of your team's performance overall this weekend?
Nah, good. Like, he had such a good race. P20 to P7, awesome race pace, amazing race from him. But yeah, as a team, I think the weekend's been good, pretty solid. But yeah, good race for Krojak. Awesome.
All right, last question before I pass you over. Is there anyone you'd like to give a special thanks or shout out to here tonight?
Yeah, the team, engineer, honestly, Krojak for the good race.
All right, once again, congratulations on the win and your new status as championship leader. And I'll pass you over to Keeper.
Hey, Rise, how you going, mate?
Not too bad, yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Congratulations on what was a very, very good drive from yourself, mate.
Thank you.
There was, a lot of talk. We thought you were going to get brought undone by the rain, mate, and these other guys that were running super long on their meds and obviously only a little bit longer on the hards had absolutely schooled you on strategy, but it didn't turn out that way at all, and you just absolutely ran away with it, mate. So, was that your call, or did you engineer pull that one off?
Nah, it wasn't my call. It was my engineer's call. He helped me a lot. Yeah, that's about it, really. Like, I was just hoping that my race pace could take me past them, and it did, I guess.
Oh, definitely did, mate. You were on another level tonight, mate, and it's always good to see a driver just pulling their best out like that. And I don't think anyone in the division would disagree that you were just on form tonight, mate. So congratulations again on your P1, mate. And how do you feel about Australia?
Decent. I won't say it's my best track. It's one of my better ones, I guess. But I'll try to do more practice over the week. But yeah, I feel good about Australia.
Yeah. Have you done 100% races before, or is this going to be your first one?
My first one.
Yeah. Looking forward to it?
I don't know. Not really, to be honest. Nah, I'm starting to try it. I'm starting to try 100%.
No, it should be good. I always, for lack of a better phrase, I always say the 100%ers sort the men out from the boys. It's a different beast. You're obviously got to stay focused for twice as long, and if you haven't done many of them before, I guess you'll be doing a lot of practice this week just to get ready for it. But all the best, mate, and I hope can see you pulling out some good performances in the near future like you did tonight.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.
Righty then, that's going to go to wrap things up here for another round of Rush Racing League Div5 in the books. Japan has
Krojak.
We've got Krojak for driving day as well still, Rickers. Yeah.
I don't even remember the last time we did a driver of the day interview, but since we got him here, we might as well shout him up. So, Crow, I mean, you had a generational drive here today, mate. How do you feel about that?
The drive itself, I'm pretty happy with, but the performance in qualifying was a bit left to be desired. I had the pace to come P2 in qualifying and just bottled it both laps.
Yeah, Suzuka is a bit of a tricky one with track limits, but it does tend to get people every so often, and but hey, you definitely more than made up for it in the race, so congrats on that. Very good points for you in Mercedes. You guys think you guys can overtake Sauber in the constructors next week in Australia?
It's going to be a good battle. They're both pretty good drivers there as well, so it's going to be all your season, I reckon, to go down between the two of us.
Yeah, looking forward to
it. Yeah.
We pretty much share the same brain cell right there. The Sauber and Mercedes battle is going to be one to watch. You guys should definitely grab your popcorn for it, and I'll pass you over to Keeper if he's got any questions or comments.
Yeah, well done, Krojak. I thought that was a really brilliant drive from yourself. Obviously, a few of us in Div 4 last night had the same issues. I mean, not that we didn't set a time in quality, but we weren't allowed to set a time in quality and had to try and work our way through the field. I didn't do it anywhere near as well as what you did tonight, mate. But yeah, how'd it go for you? Is it a lot of overtakes, or a lot happened during pitting, or how'd you feel?
There's a few overtakes, a few in the pits. I had the pace just to keep on going. I was looking after my tyres pretty well. My biggest issue was the damage I had to the floor of the car. I think, initially said 11% damage on lap 1.
Oh,
So,
that's always a rough one, mate, because you can't do anything about that. Once you get the floor damage, it's there to stay, and as we know, it can make handling the car very difficult.
Yeah, so it made it on those last couple of laps when it was starting to get slippery on those hards. I was really starting to feel it. But yeah, no, in general, I thought it was a pretty good race. And Niska engineered us really well tonight, and yeah, shout out to him and Rise also for the win.
Yeah, no, I've had Niska in my engineer's box before. He's an amazing engineer, so definitely in safe hands there, mate. If he's going to be in that engineer's box for you for the foreseeable future, mate, you're definitely in some safe hands. Your TP is telling me to ask you about a tractor.
He's got it stuck in his head on my farmer because I work at the dairy. Tell him I'm sitting on it now.
Well, there you go, H-Town. He's sitting on his tractor right now, mate. So that one's coming for you. Congratulations again today, Crojack. It was a great drive from you, mate, and some very valuable points for Mercedes in the constructors, and obviously for the overalls as well. So well done, mate, and hopefully we can see you starting a bit higher up next week.
No worries, thank you. Great call by the two of you too. Much appreciated the calls that you've put out there for us.
All right, thank you very much, mate. Appreciate that.
Have a good night.
All right, now we're going to go ahead and wrap this stream up. It's been a fun time here in Japan, and I think we have only one more race left to go here in Japan, or I think that either that or I think we're done, actually. One of the two. I feel like there's Div 3 I think still has to run, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Div 3 tomorrow night.
Yep, so tune in tomorrow night for one last round of Japan, one more taste of Suzuka. And yeah, that's going to wrap things up here. A massive thank you to Sim Racing Center, SimLab, Pagnian Advanced Simulation, and AI369. And thank all of you guys in the chat for being as awesome as always. And tune in tomorrow for one last time of Div 5, or one last time of Japan. And then next time we're in Div 5, it'll be 100% race in the land down under. On behalf of Keeper, my name is Patrick Coleman, 8K Ruckus, and I've been your host and commentator for tonight's broadcast. And we'll see you guys next time. Have a good night.